got some vellum and not sure what to do with it, or maybe you're just intrigued of what we can do with vellum to add to our cards. I've got out my pack of vellum, I've got some supplies. Let's have a look what we can do with it. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Today I thought we'd take a look at some vellum. For me especially, my Christmas crafting has pretty much come to an end, to be honest. I had my one and only, to be fair, Christmas fair at the weekend. I did all right. It was a nice day. I sold a few bits. To be honest with you, with the way some of the craft fairs go that I have been to in the past, I am just happy if I take my store money, being completely honest. So I have boxed up pretty much all of my Christmas craft supplies now, and I thought we'd just get into doing some more types of videos where we maybe look at techniques, maybe a few how-tos, and just making very much everyday cards. And I have a pack of vellum that I picked up. I had a really good idea for a Christmas card, and being totally honest, I just never got round to doing it. But I wanted to have a look and share some techniques with you when using vellum and how we can incorporate those into our cards and other paper crafting ideas as well. So I've grabbed out my vellum. I've grabbed some other supplies that I'm going to use just to show you a few of these techniques. Maybe you've seen them before, maybe they're new, maybe you know of different techniques to use with your vellum as well. If you do, please do drop me a comment down in the boxes down below. I do read all of your comments and I love learning from you guys as much as showing you some of the things that I do. So let's get started with our first technique that you can do with the vellum. So the first technique I want to show you is using an embossing folder. So vellum has a really nice finish to it when it's embossed. So let me get a sheet of this out. So here's my sheet of vellum. I've also got my Sizzix Sidekick here, and I'm going to be using a little Sizzix embossing folder that came with the Sidekick machine. It's just a really nice, I guess, flourish embossing folder. So when you pop this through your machine, what you're going to find is that it will leave the imprint almost like a nice white colour, so it will stand out against the rest of the vellum. So I've just cut a little piece off that should hopefully fit inside my embossing folder, which it does. We're going to shut that up. Then I have my embossing plate. Nearly forgot to put my other cutting plate on then. We're going to run that through. Okay, so that one has failed slightly. I don't know if it's that my vellum is just really, really fine, or if the imprint on this embossing folder is too deep, but it's actually ripped. I don't know if you can see that. It's actually ripped it. I mean, you can kind of see what the effect would be. It could be that this is just a really fine piece of vellum. It is just some cheap one that I bought off of Amazon. But I do know that a deep embossing folder can also damage the vellum. So it could be as simple as that the embossing is just too deep, but you can see the effect that I was trying to get with that. I'll try it again with a different embossing folder on my Todo, because I do have different deep depths of embossing, though I must admit that doesn't look too deep. But it gives you an idea of the effect that you can do with that one. So let me move this out the way for a minute. The second type of effect that you can do is you can create a really nice background with these. So I'm just going to put another piece of this vellum off. And then I've got my stamping platform, and I've grabbed just a stamp set from my stash. I'm just going to pop this in the corner, take my little magnets, just to hold this down very quickly. There we go. So what you can do with this that I've seen that I thought was really beautiful is you can create like a background on one side with ink. So let's take this that looks like a frame. So I'm going to line that up along the bottom here. Make sure it fits. I'm going to flip this over and pick this up. Lift this back over, and then I'm just going to grab a random ink pad. I want a different colour than that one. Nope, don't want that one either. Wanted something with a little bit of nice colour to it. What's this one here? Nope, charcoal. Right, we'll go for this. This is a Prism Shamrock Green. I'm going to ink this up. I'm hoping this is a dark enough colour, to be fair. Flick this over. Print that on there. I'm going to lift that up. Now this is going to take a second to dry, but what I am going to do is I'm just going to use my heat gun, because we're going to use a heat gun in a minute, just to give this a blast to try and dry that ink a bit quicker. There we go. I'm not convinced that that is fully dry, but I can at least turn it over and you can see that image on the back. That there obviously has no ink on, but you can see that image and it's absolutely beautiful. And what you can do is you can build it up. So let's take this stamp off my platform. Just want to give it a wipe. Annoyingly, I can't find my face wipe that I usually use for my face wipe. My face wipe that I normally use for my stamp cleaning. So I'm just gonna clean this off with a bit of toilet roll for now. It's not the best, but it'll do the job for now. Right. So let's pop this one away. And now let's build up. So let's say I want some hearts. Now obviously with this type of background you need to make sure that whatever you're using will look the same on both sides. Words and things won't work because they will appear back to front when you then come to turn it over. However, something like this, love hearts, your like flowers and things, they're going to be the same once you flick it over. There. And I know some people are going to say you shouldn't use your distress inks for this, but I have seen others use theirs for stamping. So just totally taken that apart. checking to make sure we've got plenty of ink on there. Must admit it's not a very dark colour, so lift that up. And then we have these little hearts in the background. So let me just try and dry this. It is dried, it's just very slow. But you can see we've got some little hearts in the background, and you can build it up with whatever it is that you want to use on here. So that is a really nice idea. Another thing that you can do with your vellum and your stamps is you can heat emboss on here. So let me grab a fresh piece of this. I'm going to place that down. And then let's grab this gorgeous frame. I'm going to pop that in there like so. And then we are going to pick it up. And then let me get my embossing powder and my embossing ink. I'm going to flip this back over. I've got my embossing ink, and I'm just going to get this embossed up. Flick that over. That has picked up that detail beautifully. Then I'm going to grab some embossing powder, and I want one that you're going to be able to see really clearly. So this is the Nouveau embossing powder in the Coral Chic. So I'm going to use this. I'm just going to grab a sheet of paper. This is a brand new one actually. Look, I've not used this colour yet, so let's take the lid off. Just going to sprinkle it on here, making sure you get all of that gorgeous detail. Just going to lightly tap it. That is what that looks like before we heat it. Now you'll notice that I didn't use my anti-static bag. That isn't because I've forgotten, like it is normally, but because the vellum is so smooth, you will find that the embossing powder generally doesn't stick to it the same as it would a normal sheet of paper. And now I'm going to heat up my embossing tool, though to be fair it's not overly cold anyway. The biggest things to remember with this is your vellum is very fine, so don't hold it in one position. Make sure you move it around. It will change very, very quickly because the paper is so thin. I'm going to show you on video it changing. You'll see it change very, very quickly. I apologise for the noise because this can be a bit loud on the microphone. my sheet of vellum. I hope you can see that turning very, very quickly. I'm going to turn that round. There we go. How beautiful is that? And if you find that your vellum starts to crinkle with the heat, you can obviously heat from underneath as well. But how beautiful is that? I absolutely love that. Once it's cool and once everything's all okay as well, you can then stamp in the center. You could even potentially put another heat embossing layer on there. So let's have a go at that. I'm just going to give my stamp a quick wipe and then put that one away. And then let's grab a sentiment. I'm not sure which one's fit actually. Life is an adventure. Enjoy the beautiful moments. I like that one. So let's get this pinned back down again. Look, we're going to pop our sentiment where we want it. So I'm going to go for it there. I'm going to pick that up. I'm going to go back in with my embossing ink. There we go. Flick that over and pop that on there, making sure I've got everywhere. Lift that up. Absolutely perfect. So that has now got my embossing ink on. I'm going to bring back a sheet of paper. Pop that on there. And let's have a look, what have I got? Let's go for some silver in the centre. So there we have, enjoy the beautiful moments. Just put that on my stamp, that was silly of me. Put the spare powder back in the tub. Lid back on. If you notice any of the silver caught in your previously done designs, just brush it away. You can just brush it away. I've actually got a brush as well. It's not stuck on static. It's just got into the details of the bit you've already heat embossed. But doing this will get them out of there. There we go. And then we're going to heat up that tool again. And what you need to make sure you do is try and concentrate that heat in that middle, because what you don't want to do is set what you've already heat embossed off again. So let's grab our tool in, move it around, and making sure most of that heat is concentrated within the centre. And there, it's changing very, very quickly. Switch off our tool, and there you go. gorgeously heat embossed inside and out, then all you need to do is cut that out and you have a fantastic little vellum topper. I think that's so, so beautiful. I love the effect that this has on the vellum. So that's another way you can use it, which I love. I think that's my favourite so far, to be honest. Just going to brush my plate. Then I'm going to grab another piece of the vellum. I'm going to pop it on here because we're going to stick with the stamping for now. So another thing that you can do is you can use this to be able to stamp an image and then colour it from behind. So let me grab my stamps back again. Where did this come from? No, enjoy the beautiful moments. There we go. So let's just grab, say, this little flower. I'm going to put my magnets on here. I've got my little flower stamp. Flick that back over. And then I'm going to try my, my Versamark, my Versafine, just to see if this dries a little bit quicker, because I need to be able to flick this over and use this fairly quickly. So all I've done is I've just inked up my stamp, flick this over and push that down. Absolutely stunning. Do love how clear this is. I'm going to use my heat tool again just to dry that off. Okay, so I think I need to reevaluate the vellum that I've got, because while I've been trying to dry that, I don't know if you can see, the ink has actually started to smudge and run, which isn't the look I'm going for. So let me just tear a piece off so that this isn't wasted. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start off by wiping my stamp clean. I'm going to bring in the heat embossing again, because that did do what I wanted it to do. Put that on there. So we've got our image. I'm going to grab, I have some black embossing powder. It's another one I haven't used, look. Let me just take the lid off. A very light tap. I'm going to use my heat embossing tool again. So it hasn't picked up as much detail as it had when I was doing the stamping, but I will be able to show you what I want. Take that off. Platform a bit of try. Flip that over. So what you can do with this is get your markers. So I'm going to use just some of my Spectrum Noir markers that I've got. Best practice is to turn over the piece that you're going to be colouring in, so that if you go over the lines, it's not going to affect that embossing area. I'm going to bring in my paper just to try and protect my desk in case it goes through. Pop that on there. Now, because this is going to look a lot paler when we flick it over, you do want to make sure you're using a colour that is darkish already. So I'm just going to use this. We have the red. I'll show you what this yellow looks like as well. What colours have I got? I've got an orange. And I have this gorgeous purple colour. And then, what else have I got in here? I have this is the tri-blend, and I have this pink, so I'm going to use the darker of the shades. Put that there. And then when you flick it over, look, you have that gorgeous, slightly paled, coloured effect. I think that's absolutely beautiful. And you can do so much with this, so many different colours, and it will just look slightly muted. So yeah, that's another thing that you can do with your vellum, at least if it works. As I say, I don't know if this is a vellum issue or if this is just the ink that I'm trying to use, but I have seen others use that style of ink, so yeah, not sure. And then the final one that I wanted to show you that you can use with this as well is you can use it to create like backgrounds, I guess, or different colours of like papers and things. So I've just taken a piece of vellum. I'm going to grab my blending tool. I'm going to grab a new ink sponge, and let's have a look. What colours have we got? I think I'm going to take this Seedless Preserves. Now, it is easy to do if you have something like a glass mat or something, so that you can really blend this in. I must admit I haven't, so I'm going to be a bit naughty, and I'm going to use the top of my stamping press. Open this up, load up my sponge, make sure you've got plenty on there. And you're just going to blend it. And this is where you can make like your multiple blend finishes. So then I'm going to turn that around. I grab some more again, start to blend that off the page. got it all over my finger, but you will see kind of the effect I'm attempting to achieve here. Just not convinced that this is proper vellum. I think I've made a mistake in buying the cheaper stuff from Amazon. No. Every time I touch it with my finger, look, it's just coming off. Anyway, I'm going to reinvest in some different vellum because I'm not convinced this is the right stuff. I'm just going to take my heat tool and see if I can set this. There we go. So once you've got it, and hopefully it dries a little bit better than mine has, though I do think it has now dried. So you've now got this gorgeous like background colour in whatever colour you need. You can attach that to your card as is. You can stamp on this. You can even take things such as your dies. So one thing that vellum would be really good for is like these layered dies where you can create multiple different items. So if you take, for instance, one of these daisies, okay, you could pop a few of these through. And then because of the way the vellum is, with it being ever so slightly see-through, you could build up your daisies to make them look really cool, lots of different dimension. So let me see if I can get this to work. So I've just popped that through my scissors, but there is, say, one set. Just imagine if you had multiples laid up. Where they crossed over, you'd start getting darker areas. Where they weren't, you'd start getting paler areas. You could do something similar with the leaves as well, and then you could pop that onto your cards. You could add like little gems. You could try and add like glitters and glitter glues and things like that to them, and you can make some stunning little like flowers or anything like that. It doesn't have to be flowers, but that's just an idea for you. And they're just some of the sort of techniques that you can do with vellum. I would definitely say invest in some good quality. I'm not convinced that mine is. It seems very, very fragile, a lot more fragile than the vellum I've like seen and touched before. It also won't have, like, the ink just isn't drying on it no matter what ink I use. I go back to like my original. It's still not dry after all that I've done. It's still smudging. So again, I think that's possibly a vellum thing. For me, my favourite technique is definitely this heat embossing. I can definitely use this vellum for that. So if I want to heat emboss something onto it, I'm going to stick to doing this. I think this was my favourite technique. But I also think that this is a really good way of using that vellum as well. I hope you've enjoyed it. If there's any other vellum techniques that you can think of, please do let me know in the comments down below. I hope you find this kind of useful. And as always, I'll leave in all the mistakes and things that go wrong because we are crafters and things go wrong. things don't, you know, things aren't perfect. Hopefully you can still get some ideas on how to use this anyway. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button and the like, and hit that notification bell so you know each and every time that we post a video. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Bye for now.